We're surrounded by prices that seem to have a mind of their own, but behind the curtain, there is a really specific strategic role shaping those numbers. So today, we're going to unpack the world of the revenue manager, the secret architect of value in so many industries, from hotels to airlines. Let's get right into it. I mean, we've all been there, right? You check a price in the morning, and by lunchtime, it's different. Check it again in the evening, and it's changed again. Is it just random? Some kind of magic? Nope, not at all. It's the super calculated work of a revenue manager. Their entire job is solving this exact pricing puzzle. So what is a revenue manager, really? Well, at its core, this is the person or the team responsible for perfectly aligning the price of a service with what a customer is actually willing to pay. And here's the most important part. This is always driven by the customer's needs. It isn't about what the company just feels like charging. It's all about understanding what you, the customer, truly value. Okay, but how do they do that without just guessing? Well, they follow a very specific blueprint. It's a continuous process, and it's called the revenue management cycle. Think of this as the engine that drives every single one of their strategic decisions. This cycle has 5 key steps. First, they establish the prices. Then, they forecast demand, trying to predict who's going to buy what and when. From there, they manage their inventory, things like hotel rooms or airplane seats. Then comes distribution, deciding where to sell it. But this last step is what makes it a real cycle. They evaluate the results, and all that new data feeds right back into step 1, helping them refine the prices. It's just this constant loop of strategy and adjustment. So we've got the blueprint, that 5-step cycle, but what tools are they actually using within that cycle? What's in this architect's toolbox? Well, it really all boils down to 2 fundamental levers they can pull to shape customer behavior and get the value just right. And here they are, time and price. Sounds simple, right? But believe me, every strategy, every special offer, every deal you've ever seen is just a clever manipulation of one or both of these things. It's all about the duration of the service and the price you pay. The real genius is in how they balance the two. This chart shows exactly how different industries use those levers. Let's take a look. If you go to the top right, you've got hotels and airlines. The duration is predictable, right? You know how long the flight is. So their whole game is playing with a variable price. Now, contrast that with the bottom left, a restaurant. Here, the price is pretty much fixed. The steak costs what it costs, but the duration is unpredictable. They don't know how long you'll sit at that table. So their main challenge isn't price, it's managing that turnover. You can see how different business models need totally different tools. So when a business needs to get a handle on time, they've got a few tricks up their sleeve. They can set really strict check-in and check-out times. They can cut down on no-shows with things like non-refundable deposits. They can even enforce minimum stay rules over a busy weekend. It's all about taking something unpredictable and making it as predictable as possible. Now let's talk about the other lever, managing price. The key tool here is something called a rate fence. And just think of it as a logical reason to charge different prices for what is essentially the same product. The slide gives us some obvious physical fences. A room with an ocean view costs more. A first-class seat costs more. But these fences can also be non-physical, like needing to book 21 days in advance for cheaper flight or having a strict no-cancellation policy. They all work together to create this logical mix of prices that appeals to all sorts of different customer needs. But here's where things get really interesting. Over the last couple of decades, there's been this huge, fundamental shift in the whole philosophy behind this job. It's a move away from just squeezing every last dollar out of a single sale toward something way more strategic and long-term. And this slide, this is the real aha moment. Classical revenue management was totally tactical. The question was always, how do we maximize revenue for the company today? But modern, customer-centric management is strategic. The question has completely changed. Now it's, how do we deliver the right value to the right customer to build a loyal relationship for the future? It's a massive shift from focusing on the product's value to focusing on the customer's value. And this quote really nails it. It's all about listening to what customers do, not just what they say. When do people book? What do they click on? At what price point do they hesitate? A modern revenue manager is constantly decoding all of these signals to understand what customers truly value. So the big takeaway is this: the role has evolved. The revenue manager isn't just a tactical price setter anymore. They are truly an architect of customer value, using price and time not just for a quick win, but to strategically build a foundation of long-term loyalty. Which kind of leaves us with this one fascinating final thought. The next time you see a price for a flight or a hotel room or even a concert ticket, ask yourself, is that price really based on the value of the seat itself? Or is it actually a reflection of how valuable you, with your needs, your timing, your willingness to pay, are to that business in that one specific moment? Something to think about.